We're live in Filmo Sound and in color. It's Runway DFW live from Seoul International Airport, Incheon International Airport in Seoul, South Korea. The local time here is 8:49 on Wednesday. So wrap your heads around that if you're in the USA. But that's where we are. We're coming to you from tomorrow. And today, we figured out how, I don't know how long this will work, but is it still working? Hang on, let's get the music out here. We're coming to you a little early today because I'm never quite sure. Wait a minute. I've got to mute myself. I'm never quite sure how long this will all work out when you're dealing with strings and gaffer tape and all that kind of stuff to get your signal around the world. But so far so good, and you might be able to hear in the background rain. It's a little fuzzy, but we have a wireless microphone which is one floor above us, which is outside, and it is picking up the sound of the outside world. So I don't think we're going to have to rely on... We're inside on the 8th floor of a hotel overlooking the west side of Incheon International Airport. So let's say hello to some of the folks out there. There's Nova Rain. Hello to you. I see Soul Searching Emily, who's here in the environs. Random Star says a rainy good morning to you. You know, I have found a place not far from here. In fact, it's walking distance from where I am, my hotel. And I had intended to go over there this morning and try it out because it looks like a very neat place. It's like plane spotter's paradise, to use a phrase that our friend Kevin uses. Somebody has built a place with open platforms overlooking the runways. There's a snack bar there. I guess it's all coin operated. There's a bathroom. It's like perfect. And I think there's admission, but you know, I'd pay whatever they charge for that thing. So we'll check it out later today. Now, later today for you may be the middle of the night or very early morning. But so I don't have a stream scheduled for later today, at least Korea time. But I think we'll be doing one in the late afternoon after what you can see there, the rain subsides. It's been raining all night. In fact, I've been getting weather alerts in Korean on my phone, which are letting me know that there are storms in the area. Kind of freaked me out at first because I didn't know if, getting a weather alert from it's not in English, so I didn't know what to think. Let's see, we've got a plane. It looks like it's going to be a T-way going to Calibo. Where is Calibo? That's in the Philippines. I may be pronouncing that incorrectly. Calibo, maybe. 737-800. Scheduled to leave at 8:30. It is 8:52, so it's running a little late. And I'd expect there to be some late departures and arrivals today. What was that? Oh, that's coming in. That's arriving. Another thing we will be treated to is the vapor trail being left by arriving planes as they land. I don't know what kind of livery that is. Is that some sort of Pokemon thing? Still getting my bearings here. So anyway, you can see, well, we can kind of see the mountain range to the east of us in this shot. I don't think we could even see that yesterday. It was so heavily smoggy here at Incheon Airport. Bill Caldum wants me to send some of that rain to South Arkansas. My family planted food and the plots need it. Yeah, I wish that I had that kind of power. Okay, Nova Rain confirms that was Pokemon. See, I'm not that, I don't know. And Adam Hurt and Charlie Dumasnil. So yeah, we may get another chance to see that plane as it comes back around. I think we had a .747 taking off from the east side. And we're not going to get the clearest view, obviously. Especially the planes that are far away. Ones that are close to us, it's not too bad, although it's still pretty monochromatic day here at Incheon. Beaker and Honeydew says, rain sounds great. You should do a vlog of just watching this scene with the rain. What I'm afraid of is that we're going to lose our signal to our rain microphone is, I think it's shielded from the rain itself. But it's pretty damp up there on the rooftop where this is located. We'll get a view of a new livery Korean airplane passing by there. And as I've said before, that's a divisive choice that Korean Air made, I think. Well, I don't know. I think some people are just nostalgic for the original livery. And, it'll be a while before they repaint all of their aircraft. As you can see in this shot, none of them in this image have been repainted. An E-Star jet. Is that East Tar or East? I don't know. I'm not going to even pretend to know. But that's coming in from Nha Trang in Vietnam, I believe that is. A MAX 8. Taking off now. Asiana. That's all we get to see of that, unfortunately. That one was going to Gwangju on that Airbus A330-300. Let's see, we've got China Eastern going to Qingdao. About to take off. This will be a Airbus A321. And we'll pick it up as soon as we can see it. Again, if you're just joining us, our viewing angles from this location are rather limited by the space between windows. So it's just about the time we had been scheduled to come on the air. So let me remind you, welcome to Runway DFW at Large Live from Seoul, Incheon International Airport. It's a big airport. Our microphone is a little bit indirect, so we're not getting the full power of what that would sound like as we see Korean Air 630 777-200 ER coming in from Denpasar. And I believe that's in Indonesia. So Josh Aldrich letting everybody know it's 9 a.m. in Seoul, 7 p.m. Tuesday in Dallas, 9 a.m. Wednesday in Seoul. And I do what he recommends. I trust the judgment of Josh Aldrich. Clay Hamar, DFW misses you. Well, I'll be back. In fact, a week from today where you are, I'll be back. Now, I don't know when our first return broadcast is. I may have to kind of re-engineer myself. I think that is no, that is the new Korean livery, sorry. Looks a little dark here in the dullness of a morning here. So I think that may be Flight 137 to Wuhan. We all know about Wuhan. We've got Korean Air Flight 1404 737-900 coming in from Busan. Busan. That is in Korea, so that's a domestic flight. It's about to, we should see it here in a second. Putting on the brakes. I think. Pretty sure. There it is. Let's look at a smaller aircraft with the new livery. We're accustomed to seeing it only on the larger international planes that they send out. Who knows what their timetable is for switching over all their jets. Here's what the older livery looks like. Very familiar to all around the world. Seth has got a calendar going with all the times that we have broadcast Okay, we've got Turkish Flight 20 coming in from Istanbul. That'll be a 777-300 ER. I would imagine we're going to have quite a view as it stirs up some moisture on its arrival here. It's just off the coast. The whole airport, I think, has been built on, or much of it is on reclaimed land. Let's watch this first. I think we've got time to watch this go off. We should be able to hear this 777 a little better as it slows to a stop. Yes, Luke, we do have wing floofage on the takeoffs. It's a little hard to see. I guess it's a little more prominent on the larger aircraft. But even on the smaller jets. And just for the record, that would have been Asiana 331 off to Beijing, an Airbus A321. Marco Celli says Kevin is still live at LAX. So I'm so glad to see that our friend Kevin has been able to get back into the swing of things. I was watching a little bit of his stream earlier today, so I know he's not watching this, but thank you, Kevin, again for the opportunity to broadcast on your channel last Friday night, at least U.S. time. That was a great experience for me and for Luke the Random Spotter and for Patrick Reverse Ops. But ain't nothing like the real thing, right? See, I was hoping to get this 747 going across the screen here. It's slowed. I don't know if it's going to park where it is there or not. Meanwhile, in front of us, Air Seoul is turbulating there. Air Seoul coming in from Nha Trang in Vietnam. All these things I've never said these words before. Or these phrases. If we look out here, we do a little wide shot. can see the clouds appear to be lifting, but we're supposed to have rain right through mid-afternoon. And I'm detecting a little bit of interference in our remote microphone. This is what it would sound like if I cut off that. I'm just in a room, so it sounds terrible. So even that's a little scratchy. I guess I'll leave that in for now. J.R. Melton says, how's your 747 flight? We're gonna, if we get slow here, or if the conditions become such that we can't see what's going on, I have some material to fill us in from my journey here. There goes Korean Air Flight 137 to Wuhan, A330-300. And even though it's a bit indistinct today, we weren't able to see that terrain from here, from this location yesterday. So I guess the rain has washed out a little bit of the murk, although it's still pretty murky out there. Texas Girl says, oh, she's answering somebody. Hello, Texas Girl. Good to see you. Our setup today is not ideal for me looking at your messages, although I do have a better way to acknowledge them today and to keep them going. Andy Lang, another one who wants us to send that rain over to Texas. Well, here's our route map that took us to where we are. We started in Dallas last Friday, and I'm talking about Central Time in the U.S. here. Hopped over to LAX that morning. Spent Friday night doing Kevin's broadcast from the top of the H Hotel unexpectedly with Luke and with Patrick. So, Walt, you may be asking, Walt, why aren't we seeing these planes actually land? And it's because of our location. Also, we do not have air traffic control, regrettably, but... So let's go back to the map. We spent the weekend in Los Angeles. Friday, I told you what we did. Saturday is now a blur. Did we do a stream on Saturday? I don't even know. I know we did one on Sunday morning. And then we were off to Korea on Korean Air 747 at midnight on Sunday, Los Angeles time. And then 12 and a half hours later, we were here. So let's do a little review of our trip. There was the plane we got on at LAX. I believe it's an 8-year-old 747-8 Intercontinental. Not yet painted in the new livery. Here was the line to get on. Now I thought, I was in group 2 which sounded really good. I mean, I just had an economy seat, but I thought, I'm going to get pretty good look over there to get in. But group 2 goes behind the premium group. That's the initial group, and then there's group 1. And I don't know what you have to be in group 1. There was a group 3, so I was glad I wasn't in group 3. And then came the boarding. Now, I really, if I didn't do anything else, I wanted to get some sort of a documentation of my first steps aboard a 747 ever in my life. That seemed like that would be a good thing. So I thought I'd just, turn on my camera and do that. So here's what happened, and I don't know how much of it you'll be able to hear. But I was admonished as soon as I entered the plane, no pictures. You may be able to hear that. And I was asked to turn my camera off, and I did. And I was asked to delete. I did not do that. So here's what happened. Turn down the rain. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. No picture. Okay. No picture. Would you please delete it? I'll delete it. So that's it. That's me getting on board the 747, and I have a little more to show you. Turn the rain back on. I have a little more to show you from the trip. So let's see. On board, of course, the first thing you want to do is look at the emergency card, and there it is. More proof that I was on that. Did I steal that card? No, I did not. It's too important for safety reasons. I wouldn't do that, but I held it in my hand. There were other things that were part of the seat pocket. You had these magazines. This Sky Shop was like a telephone book. It was really large and had all sorts of things I'd never seen, mostly jewelry and watches and, all that kind of stuff. This is kind of why I prepared this information. I'm going to go back to a live shot here for a second. The fog has now descended on us. So I don't know how much we're going to be able to see, but it's almost to the point where we can't see the terminals anymore. So I will go back to our little presentation here. So those are, and then Morning Calm is the in-flight magazine of Korean Air. It's kind of like an upscale travel and leisure type of presentation with beautiful pictures, beautiful photography, articles about different places that Korean Air will fly to. Very classy. I was tempted to take that, but I have so much stuff I didn't want to. So let's see. So here's breakfast. No, here's dinner. And for an economy passenger, well, we're gonna pause here for this. An Atlas Air 747 coming in. Is it coming in or going out? Coming in, I think. We'll get back to dinner story in just a minute. Atlas Air coming in from Miami. That's a long flight. 16 hours and 17 minutes. Whoa. 7,700 mile trip. I'm wagering the weather was a little better in Miami. 10-year-old 747-800 freighter. All right, back to food. This is making me hungry. So at the bottom there, I was surprised at the volume of food you get as an economy passenger And there was another choice. It was like an American beef dish of some sort, but I opted for this. So you see in the bottom center is, I don't know how to pronounce it, bulgogi, something like that, which has some kind of chopped up beef and veggies. And then to the left is, and that was kind of cold in the middle. I guess that's how it's intended to be. I don't know. Then over to the left is cooked white rice, which was hot. So I kind of poured it into that dish and stirred it around. To the right is soybean paste soup, which, I don't know, it doesn't have much flavor, but I ate it. And the upper left is some kind of peppery kind of thing, which I also stirred into the main bowl, which I guess is kind of sort of jalapeno-y. It's a little spicy. And then a couple of dessert items, and the top is some orange slices, and then a very dense cookie of some sort. And again, it didn't have a distinctive flavor. It was sweet, I guess you could say. And then there's my Coca-Cola up there in the upper right. So that was lunch at, that was dinner. And that was served right after takeoff at midnight. And after that, they dimmed the cabin lights. So let's see. Let me continue on our tail here. Go back to a live picture for a second. I did not want to copy what Noel Phillips does. You know, he's got the Lou review when he goes on board. So I did the John Judgment. Nothing, no way is it anywhere comparable to the Lou review. But here's the 747 bathroom. This is one way in the back of the plane, which is a little bigger. Well, it is bigger than the others. A couple other ones I went in. You did get there was toothbrushes on offer for people who just finished their dinner, like me. I brushed my teeth after I took these pictures, and so that's the John Judgment that we had on board the Korean Air 747. So now let's go to breakfast. There's breakfast, and you know, it looks pretty substantial. We had eggs with ham and hash browns and green beans. Now, I've never had green beans for breakfast, but you know, I ate it all. There was some peach yogurt, some pineapple wedges, and a blueberry muffin. So, you know, I was quite impressed with the variety and amount of food that was on offer. Let's see what else we got here. So we did arrive at Seoul just very early morning, pre-dawn hours of what in Seoul was Tuesday now. And there's the glass jet bridge that leads to the plane, and one final picture to let you know when you get out of the plane. It's right there on the ceiling to let you know what day it is and what time it is locally to set your watch. So there's a little flight review of our trip on a 747. Jeju Air. Now, I don't travel internationally a lot, so that what I just showed you may be very common amongst international airlines, but you know. I'm trying to remember the time I flew on, oh wow. And I say oh wow because here's what we're in for right now as far as takeoffs go. Or is that a takeoff? Yeah, I think it is. So taking off to, well, it was Air Asia Flight 504. Doesn't give a destination on Flight Radar. Let me see what's coming in and going out. We've got a Peach Airways or Airlines A320 coming in from Osaka. And you would expect a Peach Airways plane to be kind of pinkish, I guess. But from the picture here, it shows, it looks like it's more magenta toned as far as most delivery goes. And I don't even know how much of that we're going to be able to show you as it comes in. Frankly, Flying says the rain sound is very peaceful. And Jeff and Mass says Air Asia has some nice looking liveries on their planes. And, you know, here's this one we're trying to show you. It just kind of escaped our attention because I don't know how much you can see. There's Peach. It's one of those budget carriers. Yeah, it's getting awfully unviewable here. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to go on. Here again, we showed this yesterday on our unscheduled broadcast. The fire training plane, the kind of Frankenstein 747 DC-10 looking thing. Kind of wild looking. You can hear the intensity of the rain is intensifying. Harry T says, Walt, will it be the classic 747 livery that you'll be flying back to LAX when you go home? Well, I'm not going to LAX going home. I am going on a circuitous route, which I should have made a map of, and maybe by the next broadcast I will have that for you. I'm flying back to DFW on Cathay Pacific, but Cathay Pacific does not fly directly to DFW, so I'm going by way of Hong Kong. I'm taking an A330 from here in Seoul to Hong Kong next week, next Tuesday. And I'm not sure what day of the week that is where you are, but it's Tuesday here. And then I'll have a layover in Hong Kong for a few hours, from which I hope to at least sneak in a live stream back to you. So be on the lookout for that. And then I will get on an A350 1000 from Hong Kong to DFW in economy on Cathay Pacific. So I'm looking forward to that very much. While we are waiting for clearance here, waiting for the skies to clear here, a little bit maybe, I would like to say a big thank you to the members of Runway DFW. So let me line up that information here. That's not what I wanted. Oh, there it is. Get that out. Okay. Let me put that in. Let me take that out. Okay. So here, let me thank our Runway DFW sponsor, James Webb, for all he does for this channel. Tremendous amount of stuff he does on our behalf. Thank you, James, for all you do. And now we will go through the list of Runway DFW members prepared at 8 a.m. Korean Standard Time this morning. Thank you to 757 Chip, to Airplanes FRA, to Alan J, to Alaska Plane Spotter, to our Quad Jet channel member Alice Mabel, to Angela Smith, to Anna the Dispatcher, Beaker and Honeydew, Bev A, Ryan D, to Chuck TXK, and Cloudy Sayers. We say thank you to Cubs Win, to Darren Sorello, to David Rutherford, to Dronoki, Dwayne C, Hagler 17, HD Kraut, James Webb, John Lipman, Josh Aldrich, to Kirby Brooks Sr., to KS Abgeek. We say thank you to our Quadjet members Lello, Lori M, Michael Flannery, Michael Hale, Michelle RS, Mike G, Only Planes Network, Petra Quoters, Paul 1188, Pete Nordine, Payathon, Raina Taylor, S35 Bonanza Pilot. Thank you to Sarah Deal, to Skittles, to Steve Lundy, and Texas Girl. Also, The Grinch, TNT Oh My. Thank you to Tyson Price, to Will Hutchison, and those are our Quad Jet channel members. Now you will see, scrolling past you for the next few minutes, our Tri-Jet and Twin Jet members. Thanks to each of you for all you do to make Runway DFW happen. And as we're still watching the rain, I think we've lost visibility to all of our runways and terminals now. We can give you a shot of the parking lot of the Aura Hotel through the window here. Yes, I can confirm that we really can't see too much of anything right now. Well, if you could have seen that, that appears to have been the Korean Air Flight 336 coming in from Shanghai. A 777 freighter, Korean Air Cargo. Let's see, what can we show you? I'm at a loss. Quantastic says, "Hi Walt, hope you've rested up well. The weather is certainly very ordinary. Yeah, I remember last time I was here, it was rainy. It was never like a downpour that I recall, but we had a lot of times when you would need an umbrella. In fact, I think I purchased last time I was here 2 different umbrellas, having lost one of them or having left one of them behind in a store. They're cheap. They're available at every convenience store. Umbrellas are. They're about $5, $10. .757 Chip says you may want to check if live streaming inside Hong Kong Airport is allowed before starting. Thank you, Chip. I will adhere to the signage. If there's cameras with red circles with a line there, I guess I will not do that. Maybe we'll do an audio. We could do an audio stream. Just put a photograph up or some kind of an image, generic image, and I could talk to you. And we'll figure it out. James Moy saying good evening to everyone. I would like to acknowledge a couple of super chats that I somehow missed because I hadn't dialed up all of my I hadn't dialed up the audio for the super chat alert. So let me do that. Well, maybe I don't have it today. Sometimes it doesn't pop up. Please stand by. So, anyway, Austin Swafford, thank you for the $20 super chat. How are you today? Well, I wish the weather was better, but it's nice being here with you on this evening, wherever, well, it could be, it's morning here, 9:35 in the morning here in South Korea, just after 7 o'clock back home. And Texas Girl has favored us with the Runway DFW gift membership. Thank you, Texas Girl. I apologize. I don't know when you sent that, but the setup here is a little unusual. Just having a sip of Korean Coca-Cola there. Well, here's a gander at the skies. I'm not sure how much longer we can endure. Do I see any planes even getting ready to begin to take off? Yeah, we've got one coming in. Jin Air from Da Nang. And I like its airport code DAD. There's a plane taking off. I can barely see it with my eyes. We'll try to capture this plane as it comes in. And here's Jin Air. It's got kind of a lime green tail livery, but good luck making that out. Vince Kowaleski, can we get a Music of Runway DFW Disco Edition playlist? That might be something I could put together. We do have a Music of DFW playlist. I can't remember if it's just, I think it's just for members of the channel, of which we have more than 400, so you can check that out if we end earlier than anticipated. But yeah, I'll think about that. I was going to make that an annual thing, and I never did. And it's not I can't give you a playlist that you could play back on your devices. It would have to be something I would create and you could listen to here as a group of songs rather than individual ones. However, I can commend to you the artist Nouveau Luxe, Nuvoluxe. You'll find a link in our description. And Nouveau Luxe has some great music of our genre. Hey, we're about to see UPS Flight 11 coming in from Shanghai. This will be a 747-400. And it's big enough, we should be able to see it. Well, it landed a little later on the runway than we've been accustomed to seeing planes land that way. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see it after it landed very much. Trip from Shanghai. This was supposed to come in about 2.5 hours ago, so it's running late. It was an 18-year-old 747-400. Got another heavy coming in. Air Premia. A 7879 Dreamliner from Ankara in Turkey. That's an 8.5-hour flight. And it's just off the runway now. So we'll set up to try to bring you that landing. I'm guessing it's going to land a little closer, or it's going to touch down a little sooner than that last one we saw. Jeff and Mass 1, FYI. T-Way is now called Trinity Airways. Don't know if any of the aircraft have been resprayed or decaled yet. I have not seen that. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know it had officially been changed over. So, Trinity. No, I don't know. I'll keep that in mind. Let's switch over to camera 1 here and look through what we hope we'll be able to see. This Dreamliner as the rain intensifies. Don't worry about me, I'm inside, so not that you were worried about me, but I'm not impacted by any of the rain. I don't know how long the runways are here, but I imagine they're quite accommodating to large aircraft. So Luke says the T-Way redesign to be rolled out in early calendar year 2026. 182Q KFTW says that UPS 747 was doing about 160 knots mid-field. So yeah, I guess it did seem to land a little later on the runway than I would have anticipated, based upon, I'm not here all the time, just based upon my observations of the last couple of days. We have Luke Molds joining us from Masterton, New Zealand, 12:43 p.m. Wednesday. Finally, Luke, we're on the same close to the same time zone, or at least the same day. Bramberton Sheep Station in Masterton, New Zealand. Always good to hear from you, Luke. So Jeff at Mass 1 explains that the name change of T-Way is part of a strategy for global expansion, modernizing the brand and integrating with the parent company's hotel and resort portfolio. That sounds like a bunch of corporate speak, doesn't it? But Trinity Airways. There's Robert Brune, channel member, doing great. Good to see Runway DFW in Korea. And 182Q KFTW says that That UPS plane managed to get to the second to last taxiway, very close to the end of the runway. Okay, did we get to this one? Thank you, Jeff in Mass 1, for a 757 super chat. T-Way now called Trinity Airways. Don't know if any of the aircraft... Oh, that was a super chat. Did I not put that in? Or did you send that in addition? In any event, thank you, Jeff in Mass 1. Make sure I haven't missed any others here. No, I guess I have not. Okay. So Luke Mold says, we are docking lambs. We have done 1,130. So far, another 3,000 to go. And if I had any idea what docking lambs means, I don't know. But Luke, thank you for can you watch us while you do that? I don't know. Korean Air Flight 1406 from Busan. Another domestic arrival is coming in on a 737-800. Let's see what we can see. If you're looking at flight radar, we are on the western side of Incheon International Airport. Looks like a plane. Kevin Modershaw, channel member. Lovely weather, Walt. Trouble is the water dropping is making this old man want to run to the WC. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to make sure we have at least some authenticity as far as our audio goes today. I couldn't get, these windows are sealed here in the room where I am. Did I show you where the room I am is? Let me show you where I am. We're in the airway photo zone of the hotel here. So it's just a little room on the 8th floor. There's a picture of the hotel on the wall. Very striking appearance. And this is what it looks like. And this is recorded, so I'm not in the picture right now. But camera will move in here momentarily and show you what it's supposed to look like on a clearer day. Actually, this was earlier this morning that I took this imagery. And that's kind of why I wanted to get on the air a little earlier, because it was clear enough to see things. Thanks again to our channel members, whose the list has just now expired, or not expired, but has now gone away. So thank you for that. We put in our clock, identifying where we are. It does sound like we're getting more rain as opposed to less right now. Just going by the sound of it. Chip says with that weather, a seal room would be more appropriate. And Spike744 says, didn't T-Way gain some routes as a result of the Korea Air Asiana merger? I know that those two airlines had to surrender some routes in order for the merger to be approved. Not enough to focus on there. That was Vietjet Flight 862 coming in from Ho Chi Minh City. Airbus A321neo. Poised for takeoff now. Asiana Flight 721 to Hong Kong. 777-200ER. And I think it's out there. I don't know that we'll be able to see it. There's something moving out there. That's all, folks. We're getting a little reflectivity off the walls here in our, little studio overlooking Incheon Airport. Okay. I don't know if I want to see this. Luke says, means taking the tails off with a hot searing iron. We're also earmarking the lambs. We're also jabbing them with 4-in-1 vitamins, minerals. Yes, I have you popped up on a wooden board. This, Luke, you're doing so much. I don't know if anybody could even get a picture of you doing what you're doing while watching us. That would be very interesting for me to see. I would definitely put that in my collection. But anyway, thanks for informing us of what you are up to. Well, we got a couple more wide bodies getting ready to go out. Asiana Flight 734, no destination listed, but it'll be an A350-900. And on its way in, a Kalita Air 747-400 from Zhengzhou. I'm sure I pronounced that right, in China. Still a few minutes out, as I reckon. I'm kind of fortunate that this window is set back a little bit. It only has 1 or 2 raindrops. An increasing number of raindrops are adhering to it now, which may impact our ability to broadcast. But the Asiana flight is, I believe, pointing in the right direction, so we should be seeing it. Well, I don't know if we'll be seeing it, but it will be passing by us shortly. And I think that's it there. Well, that is a plane. I'm not sure if it's the Asiana plane or not. It was not. That would have been China Southern Airlines on its way to Beijing. An Airbus A321. So we're going to hope for some clearing here, but it's cleared up just a smidge from the height of the rainstorm. But Seth Rubalcaba says this is the ultimate relaxation plane spotter mode. Is the microphone just placed on the table or out on the outdoor top floor? It is outdoors. It is coming to us wirelessly. I was hoping it would pick up a little more of the aircraft sound. It is not directly pointed at the airport, however. It is, there's a big, and you think this would be great for us, a big window, a lot of big windows up on the top floor, but they're all, I can't tell if they've been painted over or they're obscured in some way, which makes it so that we cannot plane spot from up there. And they're very tall windows too. They're, you know, they're way up there. So it's not like I could just hang it over the edge or something. Okay, here comes the Asiana plane. Now we can actually see it. Well, it got to be pretty indistinct as it approached takeoff there. Here's Anna, the dispatcher, doing her publicity duties for her husband's book called Ionosphere Blue. And you know her husband as Ascending Dragon 1 here on the channel. There's a FedEx. Oh, it's a FedEx MD-11. This is FedEx 6126. Do not have a destination for it listed. Oh no, now I do. It's going to Taipei in Taiwan. That is getting ready to take off. We have a Singapore Airlines A350-900 slowing to a stop. It's clearing up a bit. This aircraft coming in from Singapore, flight 612. We're going to show you the Asiana plane taking off until our autofocus decided we weren't. Taxiing there is a Jeju Air. Trying to see if we can figure out where that's going. To Hong Kong on a Max 8. Let's see, where's that? We have an Atlas here. Oh, we have a Khalida Air coming in. I think it's on the coming in on the wrong side of the airport for us to see. So we may just have to settle for a FedEx MD-11, but not before we see a new livery. No, that's the old livery. Korean Air. Oh no, we are going to see the Khalida Air coming in over here. Okay. We have some emergency vehicles now being dispatched. A lot of them. I don't have any radios here, so I have no inkling of why they might be needed, if it's just an exercise or if there is some emergency. So if anybody has any insider information regarding that, let me know. We should be seeing the Khalid Air 747 here in just a second or two. And there are some vortexes to be reckoned with. Vortices, not sure. Okay, I think, unless it has already escaped our attention, the FedEx still down there? Yes, it is. I think that's next. Tom Bechtel, channel member. Hello, Walt Mods, friends, and Korea. Oh, you know, for that Khalid Air, I should have played this. So in recognition of that Khalid Air 747.
1993.
And in pre-recognition of this MD-11.
1996.
So that out of the way. Come on, MD-11. Here it comes. Stand by. That was nice to see. And yes, thank you, Josh, and thank you everyone for tuning us in on this, wherever you are in the world. I guess it is time to re-identify ourselves. So let me see here. I shall play this.
Live on YouTube, it's Runway DFW.
Thank you, Warren. We are at large at Incheon International Airport in South Korea. We've been, I don't know, it seems like a long time. We've only been on the air for an hour and 18 minutes. It's stressful here, trying to make sure that we get you some kind of a broadcast, even in these conditions. Well, that's the most colorful thing we're likely to see today. Scoot Airlines. Is that Sanrio? Is that what that is? Some kind of design there. Going out of our shot. Oh, that's the Pokemon. That's another Pokemon livery. We saw one on Garuda, Indonesia yesterday. So that's another Pokemon livery. Coming in from Singapore, that was a 7879 Dreamliner. So you can check off Scoot on your bingo card. Here's that 20th Century Kalita Air 747 that we saw land a few moments ago. It's now making its way to the cargo area here at Seoul, or wherever. I guess there's multiple cargo areas, I would guess. Josh says, gotta catch that one. We may get another look at it on its return swing back to the terminal area. Give it a try. Well, thank you for that vote of confidence from Beaker and Honeydew, one of our mods. Thanks to all our mods who are here with us tonight. Jeff in Mass 1 says, FYI, Kalita took delivery of two 777 converted freighters, the first two of its kind in the world. Let's see if we have any grand-sized aircraft coming in. Oh, yes, we do. We have another Kalita Air. I missed this one. That one was Kalita Air 785, arriving from Xi'an. 747-400 freighter. And we'll give it a delayed salute here as that plane comes to us from the year
1997.
And now, Korean Air Flight 320, Korean Air Cargo Flight 320 from Gwangju. Oops. See, I don't mean to snap the camera around like that. This is a 747 from the year 2005. So let's check it out. Here on Runway DFW, live from South Korea. It's a coming. Well, Jeff and Mass with a thank you. I am more than happy to do this. As many of you know, I am here in Korea, ostensibly, to visit with my son. I haven't seen him yet. He lives and works in Seoul. This airport is about an hour away from Seoul by public transportation. Now we have an AirAsia X A330-300 coming in from Bangkok. The picture I see here on Flight Radar 24 indicates that it's not painted. So I don't know what its history is. It's a 9-year-old A330-300. And it is a plane we will be seeing shortly as it comes into our view. Linda Kavinsky. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. It was nice visiting with you at Cranky Dork Fest weekend. And she's, looks like a little bit of rain. Just a little. So we're waiting to see what this Air Asia plane will look like. Whether it has been painted or not since the picture of it I just saw. It'll be coming in from the left side of our picture. So yeah, that's pretty generic looking. Linda, with that problem everybody has from your mobile phone, it's hard to say hello to all because of the because YouTube for some reason doesn't let you start typing in a name and then it just appears for you, unfortunately. Or fortunately, it works that way on a desktop, but for some reason not on a mobile device. So there's one of the two Kalitta Airs we just saw landing. Then right behind that one is Korean Air Cargo. I'll tell you what, this your Incheon Airport kind of gives Anchorage a run for its money as far as queens go. Payathon says, Flight 31 to DFW taking off on the other side. Well, there's no way we can even begin to start to look at that. I'm going to sweep around here just for a second to catch a new livery Korean Air narrow body go up. The conditions have improved here over the worst of it. And an Asiana King of the Skies coming to a halt. Now, according to my forecast, it is supposed to clear up later this afternoon, and we're hoping later this afternoon in Korean time. So I'm hoping to be able to come back in a few hours with another broadcast. That is a Flight 742 from Bangkok. An A380, 10-year-old plane. And I'm not seeing anything immediate immediately on the flight radar here as far as departures and landings go. Flyer KG says the shape of the 747 never gets old. I concur with that. We've got a couple of them here in this picture. Now here's something spooling up. It's Trinity Airways or Airlines. And yes, indeed, Flight 31 of Korean Air did just take off over on the east side of the airport. The plane we just saw landing, coming in from Frankfurt, Trinity Airways. And it says here operated by Korean Air. Interesting. Coming in from Frankfurt, Flight 403. All right, we've got Swiss coming into view here. That is Flight 123 going to Zurich, an Airbus A340-300. Oh, I couldn't even make that out. That's my favorite one of my favorite aircraft. That's my favorite aircraft after the 747. We get to see this take off. Woohoo. I don't think I've ever seen it in Swiss. I've seen it. Lufthansa flies this aircraft to DFW currently, at least last I checked. Well, our patience has been rewarded. We do have somewhat clearing skies. Avalo 7137 says Korean Air 744 from NGO, which is, I believe, in is that Nagoya in Japan? In the Korean Air new colors for the H321neo. We did see one narrow-body jet earlier in the new, at least one in the new livery. But they're still kind of far and few between here at the home of Korean Air. The old livery predominates. I'm wondering what it'll be like 1 year from now, assuming I'll be back here. So the A340 getting ready to make the turn to take off into the skies. Now, from what I understand, this is a fairly underpowered 4-engined plane. The 300 variant has much smaller engines than the 600 variant does. So we may not even see it get off the ground as it's playing out in front of us. But it's getting ready to take off, so we'll switch to camera 1. And we'll take a look at Swiss, headed off to Zurich on Runway DFW. Here it comes. I think. Guess I was right about that. There's one of those Kalitta Airs making its way to the cargo terminal. You see there in the background. That must be where the cargo planes live. I see an Atlas Air back there. I can't make out the others. Want to get up? Go ahead, says Hi Walt. As much as I love your DFW streams, thank you. I love these Korean streams more. Really shows a difference in airport ops and everything. Subtle, but definitely a different country. Thank you. Well, there are other streamers who get to travel internationally a lot more than I do. Big Jet TV. but this is still, Runway DFW is still kind of a part-time operation for me, as I do have a full-time job. So it's hard for me to get out and do other than DFW more often than I do. No idea what that is. Cool stripes. I can now tell you that was Thai Airways on its way to Bangkok, an A350-900. Michael Hill, channel member. Glad you had a safe trip. Nice to see some variety both on location and aircraft. We definitely, I mean, you know, I've never been to Miami to plane spot. I imagine that it's kind of got, from what I've seen in other streams, it's kind of got this same vibe of being like way more planes and liveries than you'd ever see in a year at DFW. So it is fun to be here and to share this with you from far away, or at least far away from where we normally are. Jeju Air with the Zanmang Loopy livery is about to take off now. What that is, I guess we're about to find out. I cannot tell you what the Zanmang Loopy livery is. No destination is given for that plane. Eva Air coming in from Kaohsiung, which I'm guessing is an airport in Taiwan. This will be an Airbus A321. So again, we're not accustomed to seeing the Eva Air livery, at least where I'm from, not accustomed to seeing the Eva Air livery on anything but a wide-bodied jet. So let's see how it looks on an Airbus A321. Michael Hale says, iced unsweetened tea and a Whataburger for lunch? No. You know, last night, I was still on a crazy schedule yesterday. Here's the Eva Air narrow body. Let's see, we were with you yesterday till about noon Korea time. And that was when I could finally get to a room. I had come in on the flight from Los Angeles at just about 5 a.m. Well, actually, it was a little before 6 a.m. And so I had to kind of camp out in the airport for a while. And I knew my room wasn't going to be available until like 3 o'clock. So I got in touch with the hotel, and they said, well, you can check in early, but not until noon. So we did we did a couple of live streams from the airport using my cell phone. Then I got an Uber taxi over to the hotel. And, we decided to put on a show from there before we could get to our hotel room. And and I had not, I don't know that I mentioned this earlier, but I hadn't slept very well on the plane. And I'll tell the rest of the story. Well, I think we have a little time here, but we do have Finnair Flight 41 coming in from Helsinki in A350-900. So yeah, I didn't sleep very well on the plane, so I was pretty tired by the time we got off the air yesterday morning here. And so I got all showered up and laid down, and I think I didn't get up. I think I got up. I set my alarm for about 5 p.m., so I had about maybe 4 hours of sleep. And I got in touch with my son, let him know I'm here safely, and I'm all checked in and everything. And but at that time, I decided, I need to go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, got up around, midnight Korea time, and started doing pre-production for this broadcast. Can you tell? And kind of plotting out the day. That's when I figured out I was very close, within walking distance, to this other plane spotting location, which I'm very keen to try out as soon as the rain subsides, because it is out of doors. So I did that, did the pre-production. Then I went back to sleep for a couple of hours. I got up at, I think it was 7 a.m. local time here. And then I came upstairs here to check to make sure that even though it's raining, we can still see out this window, because I'm in a room lower in the hotel. I don't know if we lost our outdoor microphone yet. I don't think so. It's just not as drippy as it had been. So I came up here and checked that out. Then I got all the gear packed back up. Took the elevator up here after getting a refreshing Coca-Cola and a bottle of water. Well, we've lost it, but Keith says he likes the Finnair color and livery. Simple and nice, especially on the A350. It does look nice. Harry T says, you've seen that Kevin is off to JFK near the end of the month. Is it this month or next month? I thought it said October. But in any event, it'll be great to see Kevin. I can't remember if Rudy's going with him or not on this one. But in any event, always great to see dispatches from the TWA Hotel in New York. A Korean Air 777-300 is about to take flight to Narita Airport in Tokyo. Flight 703. Be on the lookout for that. Meanwhile, this should be very colorful. Central Airlines coming in from Yantai. Assumption is that it is a Chinese operation, but wait till you see this paint job if it's what I'm looking at. It's not going to be quite as colorful on this gray day, but here it comes. Kind of cool. I don't know if the wind has changed direction or what, but our window is now being peppered with raindrops. Beaker and Honeydew calling it a rainbow at the end of the storm. It's kind of like the colorful brother of Volaris. It's got the same kind of pixelated look, at least on its tail, Volaris does, but that one carries it over. I like that one better. Well, Boatstone saying the same thing. And 182Q KFTW says, next one looks like an old FedEx. We've got YTO Cargo Airlines coming in from Wenzhou. 26-year-old 757-200. Should be seeing it momentarily. You can see the raindrops on our window here now. We can focus past most of it, I think, but it may start to have an impact on our view. So that's your YTO cargo. Here's another look at that livery I like so much. If you just wanted to snap photos of planes, I kind of wish that I had my long lens Sony camera just to sit out here and find a nice outdoor spot and snap pictures of all these planes. I don't. It was too big to take with me. My Sony long lens that you probably have seen in the background of our After Dark programs from DFW. Michael Hale, this is exactly what I think, Michael. What a small corner of the world I live in. All these airlines and aircraft are liveries I've never seen before. I'm with you. And I come to you on a regular basis from a major international airport. Something is happening. Let's see. Oh, Korean Air new livery. So that's what it looks like on a 777 coming in from Busan here in South Korea. So what do you think on a 777? We've seen it in Dallas on a Dreamliner, and we've seen it in LA on a I think both 747 and A380. Don't think I've ever seen it on a 777. Yeah, we've only seen a handful of the new livery here so far, Josh. I was expecting that maybe we would see more, but we have seen it on a narrow body. We've seen it on now, I think all varieties. Oh, we may have. I just saw a plane taking off. Let's see, can we see it here? We can see raindrops. A plane taking off in the other direction. They may be switching, doing reverse ops here. And that may take a little while to. But we just saw a T-Way Air, Trinity Air take off. Okay, yes we do. Now we have okay, well, we're going to have to get our focus in rearranged, and I don't know if that's going to work. But yeah, they have reversed operations here at Incheon International Airport. But my camera is now deciding it likes to focus on the raindrops as opposed to the long distance shots. So let's see how this all lines up here. The plane that just took off, which we couldn't see, was Asiana Flight 371, an Airbus A330. Looks as though the next departure is going to be Uzbekistan Airways Flight 512 to Tashkent. It is a 787-8 Dreamliner. So let's see. Oh, I was on the right camera to begin with. So we're now moving from right to left as far as takeoffs and landings go. So they may have maybe a little delay while they get everything rearranged here on the west side of the field. So I've seen reverse ops at Dallas Love Field and Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. Don't think I've seen it taking place anywhere else. So this is a first for me. So Uzbekistan Airways is first out of the gate here on the west side. I think I hear it. I'm assuming the takeoffs are on the runway closer to the terminals. Here it comes. Well, it looks like we get a little more action this way, at least as far as takeoffs go. Our next contestant, as far as departures go, going to be Asiana Flight 736 with the Star Alliance livery, no destination specified. It's a 777-200. Beaker and Honeydew saying goodnight. Thank you for being a mod this evening, Beaker and Honeydew, and for your support of the channel. I appreciate it very much, and have a great evening and a better day tomorrow. I see Josh is still with us in the random spotter as far as mods. So I know I saw Beve. Hello, Beve. Kai also. Cathay Pacific landing. Oh, that's taking off. landing, just landing, is this Jeju Air. Looks like it has some special livery on it. Something about heritage. Coming in from Matsuyama. All right, next departure, okay, now I think we're going to get the Asiana Flight 736, the 777-200. Zachary Boney says ICN, of course referring to Incheon International Airport, is Narita's busiest route. I did not know that. Mike Brownstead saying hello. But Kevin saying goodbye. So good night to you. All right, let's see. Here we go. Well, this is an arrival. China Airways. China Airlines. Still getting our camera 1 lined up here and locked down. Well, you know, I don't see. Oh, here we go. The old Star Alliance livery, Asiana. Etihad. Haven't seen that in a while. They did make a couple of one special flight to Dallas last year. I think it was to take the Dallas Mavericks basketball team for an exhibition series in the Middle East. That is flight 822, a 7879 Dreamliner, coming in from Abu Dhabi, which is a fun word to say. So we've got a China Eastern Airlines A320neo coming in from Nanjing on the incoming side. It looks like Korean Air Flight 169 to Macau, and Airbus A321neo is next to take off. So which one will we see first? Robert Houston wants to know what's the temperature there. I only have it currently in Fahrenheit. I'll have to tell you that after a second or two. So I don't think that's any of the aircraft I told you what it was. That was Jeju Air going to Weihai. Here's the China Eastern plane we did announce. And so, let's see here. Looks like we've got a Korean Air Max 8 coming in from Osaka, Japan. And it looks as though a T-Way Air, operated by Korean Air, but now called Trinity Airways, or Airlines, is off to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. A 777-200 ER. So, I have to tell you that Flight Radar is a little slow. And, I don't know, it could be a security thing, I don't know. As far as, pinpointing the exact locations of airplanes. But usually it's a little more up to the second at DFW. So here's a narrow body Korean airplane in the new livery. No, in the old livery. They're kind of close at a glance, especially on a gray day. And we've lost it, and then we've regained it in the autofocus. Shooting through windows, not optimal. I don't want to suggest that this is what anybody should do when taking pictures. It will distort the image a little bit. So now I do believe we will see the T-Way / Trinity Airways plane off to Seoul. Trident Ken Aviation, I don't have the any kind of rain gear with me, not even for me. I'm going to have to invest in some, but I probably won't be able to do that until tomorrow when I leave here and go to Seoul. My Airbnb is in a much, we're pretty isolated where I am here at this hotel just to the west of the airport here in Incheon. Seoul's about an hour away by public transportation, which is where my hotel will be, or my Airbnb. I'm looking forward to that because it has a washer and dryer. And I've got a lot of things to wash and dry. voyage. So the plane just landed here from Osaka. That's not a Max 8, is it? To tell you, it looks too big to be a Max 8. But I guess Flight Radar has more knowledge than I do. We've got a Korean Air Flight 744. It's an Airbus A321neo. It is in the new livery. It's about to land. We'll get a view of that as it after it lands. Jeju Air Flight 2211 to Da Nang. It's getting ready to take off. Da Nang, Vietnam. 737-800. On a kind of miserable morning here at Seoul Incheon International Airport. So I think we're going to see the flight coming in from the new livery Korean Air Airbus A321neo next, arriving. No, that's not it. It's Vietnam Airlines. That is departing. Let me see if I can get you the ID on that. Flight 417 to Hanoi. 787-10 Dreamliner. First one of those we've seen today. So if I'm reading Flight Radar correctly, Jeju Air 2211 to Da Nang in Vietnam is next. But I could be wrong. Because we may see Zip Air Flight 41 coming in from Tokyo Narita 787-8 Dreamliner. So whatever plane appears first in this is what we'll follow along with. Cynthia Clavey says, rain, we are so dry here. I know. And Mick says, howdy y'all and Walt from the great state of Texas. The weather is much different here in G-Town. A little drippy today. William McAuliffe, yes, you are correct. It is raining here. As I explained earlier in our broadcast, we are undercover. We're actually sealed up in a room with a plate glass window overlooking the west side of Incheon International Airport. Spike 744 says Korean Air flies the Dreamliner and the A350, 747-400. And before I can get to the rest of that, here comes Zippy. Just a short jaunt over from Tokyo Narita. less than 2 hours. It's a 14-year-old Dreamliner. Now we await our next either arrival or departure. Still waiting for the Jeju Air departure to Da Nang. But I don't think this is it. This is Thai. Headed back to Bangkok, I would surmise. Thai Flight 657, aboard an A350-900. Got an A350-300 from Taipei about to check in, EVA Air Flight 170. Well, if you're just joining us now, you are watching Runway DFW at large from a rainy Incheon International Airport in Seoul, South Korea, just after 11 a.m. on Wednesday here in Seoul. I know the time may vary depending on where you are in this wide, wide world. We probably will be here with you for the next about till noon. Then I will take a little break. The rain is expected or forecast. Let me look at my forecast to see if it's changed any. But the last I looked, the forecast is the rain was supposed to subside about mid-afternoon and then be clear. And my goal would be to bring you another broadcast at a yet unspecified time before it gets dark here tonight. Now, that means that we'll either be on very early in the morning, if you're in, I'm talking about Central Time Zone U.S., be on very early in the morning, or, well, yeah, it'll be very early in the morning. We may bleed into the AM breakfast hours, but that's our tentative plan. If the rain does not subside, of course, we can't do that. So we'll see what happens. And then tomorrow, if the weather allows, we'll go to our outside viewing area for a morning stream from here, which will mean another after dark experience if you're in the U.S. time zones. So things can't really plot out everything exactly as we would like because of the wet weather. So I hope you will bear with us, as I know you do. And coming into focus now, EVA Air. That's the one that came in from Taipei on an Airbus A330-300. Jeju Air. Is this the one that was going to Da Nang? Finally getting off the ground. looking like we've got Korean Air, Flight 529, Korean Air Cargo, Flight 529 at 777, going to Frankfurt is going to be next to take off, I think. And I'm trying to get our primary camera in focus so we can do that for you. Matt Simmons, still don't see any coyotes. Nor have I. Here's the METAR from 182Q KFTW. If you're a METAR reader. Korean Air Flight 125 to Xiamen in China. It's an Airbus A321neo. I believe that's going to be next up. But not before I think we see an Asiana landing. Where am I? Oh no, it has already landed. So by way of explanation, we're flying a little blind here as far as we can only see, a limited scope of the airport from our position because of windows. And so we have to rely on Flight Radar 24 to kind of guide us as to what's coming and going. I'm going to see if I can turn off the autofocus. Don't know. Air China Flight 123 from Beijing, Airbus A321. I see a big aircraft coming in over on the other side of the airport. Can anybody make out what that is? Guess we'll see it go by here. Looks to have been China Airlines in the Sky Team livery coming in from Taipei. Did he go through that shot? I don't know. Is that it? No. Hard to see. Reverse ops. Hello from Flight American 297. Well, hello to you, Reverse Ops. Hope your Wi-Fi is working good. Patrick was with us through the weekend at the Cranky Dork Fest events. He did streams on his own on Sunday morning, and he did some excellent driving around videos as well. Patrick, our Hawaiian eye, I like to call him. And it was fun to work with you, Patrick, and alongside of you. And I hope we can do more of that in the future. Check out Patrick's channel, Reverse Ops, here on YouTube. Michael Allen saying good night from Louisiana. And enjoy your stay. I will. And Reverse Ops, I've done that before. I've watched an ad and gotten 20 minutes of free Wi-Fi. I do get some, one of the benefits or perks of having a T-Mobile account is being able to get free Wi-Fi on planes. And so when Mrs. Runway DFW and I went to the Cayman Islands, I thought, well, this is great. I can connect up while we're traveling. And it wouldn't come up for me. And so I got in touch with the satellite provider by text. They had some kind of a chat function. They said, yeah, that's only for domestic flights. And so since we were traveling internationally, a free Wi-Fi was not an option. And speaking of reverse ops, we do have reverse ops here. Well, I'm assuming this is reverse to the normal flow of things, but I don't know that for sure. But in any event, it's the reverse way of how things were working when we got here a little more than 2 hours ago. Arriving from Fukuoka in Japan, Air Busan, an Airbus A321neo should be next in our view as far as arrivals go. Oh, reverse ops, that's interesting. T-Mobile doesn't work for Hawaii either. A bit of a problem following that one along. Here's the Air Busan. Busan is another big city here in South Korea. I believe it might be the second largest city. So they've got their own airline. That's what it looks like. But that one's coming in from Fukuoka in Japan. So we've got some wide bodies lined up. Korean Air 937, 7879 Dreamliner going to Vienna. Korean Air flight But before that, it looks like Ethiopian cargo. 777. Now this is one I have not seen before. Of course, we don't see Ethiopian in Dallas, and cargo, my goodness, it's coming our way. Hit a cloud bank before we hit the edge of the window there. William McAuliffe says, are there any USA planes there? Walt? I don't know that I've seen any today. I haven't seen it. I know United and Delta and American all fly here. There may be some other carrier I've forgotten about. I know Southwest doesn't fly here. Pretty sure about that. Could almost guarantee you that Spirit does not fly here. Looks like our next departure is going to be the Korean Air Flight 937 to Vienna, of which we spoke earlier, 7879 Dreamliner. So I'll be coming from the right side of your screen. Robert Houston is heading off for a spicy chicken sandwich. You know, you can eat spicy chicken sandwiches while you watch Runway DFW. That is a little known fact. And Jeffrey, yes, American does have a one daily flight to Seoul, as does Korean Air. I think Korean Air is a daily flight. I may be mistaken about that. You may have seen a FedEx 777 going through your picture there. It was landing on the east side of the airport. So Brandon Rabbit says that would be the best joke ever if Spirit flew to ICN. Let's see what Flight Radar tells us about flights that are departure rating here. Still, well... Okay, now we're seeing, looks like Vietnam Airlines to Ho Chi Minh City, a 787-10 Dreamliner is going out, but no, that's not what our picture here is showing us, is it? Floofage aplenty here on this Wednesday morning in Seoul. So obviously that was not the Vietnam Airlines. That was the Korean Air 7879 Dreamliner to Vienna. So now, might we expect to see the Korean Air to I'm not sure. I've lost all track of things here. I don't know, maybe I should just stop trying to pre-announce things and just watch them as they come in and go out. Got a flight coming in and a flight going out at the same time. The Vietnam, is that another Vietnam plane? Yes, it is. It's a 787-10, the big Dreamliner. I don't know if it's going to take off before we run out of picture. There it goes. So the Vietnam plane was going to Da Nang. Or was it? Vietnam plane was going to Ho Chi Minh City. The next plane I believe we're going to be seeing is Korean Air Flight 457 to Da Nang. Let's see, we've got a 747 coming in over there on the east side. Can't make out its identification there. Getting much more visibility than we had been getting earlier. Yeah, the skies are lightening up a little bit. Not lightning, but lightening. All right, here goes Korean Air to Da Nang with a very nice call sign of DAD, D-A-D. Uncle Plane Guy says they spot a Western Global MD-11 over there. Those are always fun to see. I don't have any way to confirm that. So I think that that 747 we just saw land, that appears to have been a Western Global 747-400 arriving from Hanoi, a 26-year-old 20th century aircraft. If you're just checking in with us, hello, it's Walt here from Incheon International Airport in Seoul. We'll be here probably for another 30 minutes or so, I would wager. Got to go downstairs and charge up batteries. Hopefully we'll be able to do another stream later this afternoon from Seoul. But the times will vary depending on where you are, and I don't have a firm time for it yet. But finally, we can see some of the terrain here in the surrounding area of the airport. You can even see some of the apartment buildings there adjacent to the airport, or maybe they're hotels, not sure. In the city of Incheon. We can now report that the plane you just saw was Korean Air Flight 101 to Nanjing, a MAX 8. We have an arrival here. At least that's what my ears detect. But I'm not seeing it. Did it go short? Don't know. We've got another wide body on deck. Asiana Flight 501 to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. It's an A350-900, scheduled to leave at 10:45, so it's almost running an hour late. I would expect there to be some operational discrepancies on a day like this. The weather quite interesting today. That was flight 185, Korean Air. 7879, Dreamliner off to Taipei. We should next be seeing Hong Kong Express. This is an Airbus A321neo, flight 618, coming in from Hong Kong, as you might expect. My assumption is that this would be some sort of a budget airline. Definitely clearing up here, though. Here goes that Asiana off to Paris. Now, in the queue to take off, we've got Korean Air 969 to Prague, which is a 787-10 Dreamliner. We've got Asiana Flight 363, an Airbus A321neo, which has destination Shanghai. And we've also got Malaysia Airlines Flight 67, which will be going to Kuala Lumpur. Plus we've got Korean Air Flight 788 coming in from Fukuoka, 7878 Dreamliner. And then we've got this plane. Was this even in our listings? I don't think so. Did it say Air Seoul on it? I believe it did. No, that was Asiana off to Shanghai. Airbus A321neo. I see an Air Zeta cargo plane. There it is, formerly Asiana. Looks like it's lining up to take off over here. So let's see what we see next. I would like to thank this viewer, whose name unfortunately I can't pronounce. Welcome back to ICN. It's already been a year. Hope you had a great trip. Thank you for the $10,000 won, or 10,000 won, super chat. Won is the currency here in Korea. $10,000 is right around $7.47, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Something in that vicinity. Check on our batteries. We say hello to Rigoberto Juarez. Aeromexico is departing at 11:40. I'm assuming for Mexico City, yes. Down to 23% on our main battery. Spike 744, noting a plane we saw earlier, HK Express, a low-cost airline owned by the Swire Group, the same group that owns Cathay Pacific. Thank you for those kind words, Bordinco. I always say that wrong. Bordinco 90. Thank you. Am I right about that? I looked it up earlier, and I think it was right around. It was $7 and something, but that's an easy way to remember it, isn't it? As far as the exchange rate between dollars and won. Josh Aldridge is getting ready to go to bed over there in Oklahoma City. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, Walt. Josh, thank you so much again for your friendship, for your support of this channel. It is super appreciated by me and all of our other viewers. Thank you, Josh. Have a good rest. Jonathan Lee, good morning, Walt. Glad you're dry. Remind me, did Korean buy Asiana or the other way around? I think it's Korean buying Asiana. In fact, I'm certain of it. Or at least Korean Air wound up with the majority of whatever. It's a Korean Air A330-300 coming in from Busan here in Korea. I believe that's a Vietjet. I may be mistaken. I'll have to double check that. Vietjet Air, Flight 961 off to Hanoi, an Airbus A321. I think we have the Air Zeta 747 about ready to head off to Hong Kong. 747-400, 28-year-old plane. So I will salute it in advance.
1997.
So unless Flight Radar 24 is deceiving me, this is what we'll be seeing this plane next. It's gotten kind of a sort of a paint job. They've painted over or stripped off the Asiana livery, but left a stripe which kind of is in a place where I think Asiana had a stripe. So but I don't think this is what I was expecting here. So it's definitely not a 747. So that plane took off ahead of what I was expecting. That was a 777-200 going to Istanbul, Asiana Airlines, an 18-year-old plane. So now, might we expect to see the 747? And I no longer even see it on the radar. So Flight Radar's a little iffy here. We may be surprised at whatever pops up next on our view screen. We may be losing the battery of our remote microphone. Which may result in a discontinuation of our outdoor sounds. Jaron Monson saying good night to Josh. Mitch Cohn saying my son is watching from 4,000 miles away in the Air Force. I'm watching in Huntsville, Texas. We're watching together from halfway around the world. That is nice. All right, what do we have here? The 747. Very nice. Off to Hong Kong it goes. Jeju Air coming from Singapore is what I expect to see landing here. 737-800. I hear it decelerating. Coming in behind that is China Southern Flight 313 from Shanghai. And we've got several planes lined up. We've got Vietnam Airlines A321 Flight 431 to Da Nang. Could be next. We also have Malaysia Airlines to Kuala Lumpur. And I think that's what we're seeing here. No, this is Turkish going to Istanbul. I'm assuming Istanbul. Let me see. So Turkish Flight 21 is going to Istanbul. 777-200 ER. No, that was a 300 ER. Sorry. Skies are brightening. So now, flight radar is showing several planes in the takeoff row. Malaysia to Kuala Lumpur and T-way to Barcelona or Barcelona. This will be the China Southern plane arriving in the mist. And good for you with that cheat line. QKFTW says, I think there's poor terrestrial reception for the ASDB here. Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know if it's something that the government institutes to try to, oh, I see an American plane there. So we see the Garuda Malaysia plane in the foreground there, and there's the American One World livery. Mitch Cohn, I can certainly give your son out. I can give your son, Dominic, a shout out. Hello to you, Dominic. Very nice to see you watching along with your dad. And thank you for your service. Well, we're looking out for either Korean Air Flight 706 arriving from Narita Airport in Tokyo, that'll be in MAX 8, or another plane. There goes the Malaysia flight off to Kuala Lumpur. And you can kind of, sort of now start to see some of the surrounding terrain here in Seoul. Yes, William Quigley, channel member, the weather is definitely showing signs of improvement. We have another airline we haven't seen yet on this trip, Aero K. Now, it sounds kind of like a cereal, but it is an airline coming in. It's got an Airbus A320 coming from Osaka, Japan, which we'll see coming from the right side of our screen. Got an interesting livery with a big yellow K on the tail. Which we expect to see any second now. I don't think I'd have a big bingo card large enough to have the names of all these airlines that we're seeing. T-Way, or Trinity Airways. That plane was going to Okinawa, a MAX 8. That T-Way Trinity Airways plane. Get another look at Aero K here. So we're coming up on noon here. That's about as far as I had expected us to go today. A, got to charge up batteries. B, have to see what the weather's going to be like. If it is indeed clearing, we will try out a different location, which will be out of doors. And it should give us a lot better image because we're not looking through glass. It'll give us a lot better sound because we won't be trying to pipe it in from the roof. I do believe we have a plane taking off. Let's see what it is on Runway DFW, live from Incheon International Airport in Seoul. It's another T-Way. Comes another airline that I don't think we've seen yet today. Tianjin Airlines. Arriving from Tianjin. It's an Embraer 195. Wow, it's the first regional jet we have seen today. A large one, but the first regional one we've seen. Take that, DFW Airport, where we see them quite regularly. This is a Chinese airline coming from Tianjin, which is to the southeast of Beijing. It's Garuda, Indonesia, going to I'm not sure where it's going. Kuala Lumpur, I think. No, that's going to Denpasar, and that has the 74th anniversary livery painted on it. So do we have any large aircraft headed out? Air Astana, a 767-300 is on the flight line. "12-year-old plane, we do not have a route for this. If you just joined us, what are you looking at? It's not DFW Airport, that's for sure. It's Incheon International Airport in Seoul. We're near Seoul. We're west of Seoul. On a rainy Wednesday morning, just before noon here in Korean Standard Time Zone. We're just about to wrap things up. I'm trying to see if there's any other large aircraft that we're about to miss, and I don't think there are. There's the Air Astana. Might be the last one we do see. Wheels up to wherever it's going. So I do believe that's going to do it for us at this time here on Runway DFW. So let's get our music to say goodbye to ready to go. I would like very much to thank our viewers. First of all, let me thank James Webb, our channel sponsor. Thank you, James Webb, for everything you do and have done for Runway DFW over the years. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you also to our channel members. More than 400 of you strong. Glad you could spend part of your day with us, and we'll be back later today in Korea time. It might be tomorrow where you are, so make sure you have your notification bells set up. Unless you want to sleep and it's the middle of the night. I understand that. You can always watch a playback later. But it's nice to have you with us live. That's nice. Thank you to our mods. My goodness, so many of you here tonight and making sure our viewers have the best experience. We have the best mods. I'm not afraid to say that, so thank you to our mods. Thank you to our subscribers, new and old, and thank you so much to everybody who just kind of found us and said, hey, I'm going to watch this for a bit. It's Runway DFW. We'll be back soon. I'm going to take a little break, and we'll be back with you in a few hours on many of these YouTube streaming channels.
This is Warren Barnett speaking for Runway DFW, a Runway DFW production, all rights reserved.